and welcome back to the Bunk and Pick podcast. Pick here with Bunk flashing weird gang signs or something at me with his hands. That was weird. What's up, Bunk? How are you?
Hello, governors. Welcome to 2025.
Hey, we made it.
We did. Season 2 of the Bunk and Pick podcast. Balls will roll, friends. Balls will roll. And we've got 2 of the best rollers in the game with us today.
That's weird. Did you guys know that you're 2 of the best ball rollers in the world?
First time finding out.
I've heard they've got the best hands in the game, folks.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Damn
it.
For rolling balls. We got Big G, we got Medium G.
I was wondering why they called Greg Meat Hook all those years ago.
Oh, my God. This is all not coming right.
Italian, what do you call him? Meat hook?
Good God.
We only bring the best here at Bunk and Pick. No substitutions. Hey, God, that's horrible.
You know what I mean? I could help you out.
Oh, man. All right, we are 2025, Season 2. We got the team. The team is here. We got Bunk and Pick. We got Big G, Medium G.
For my introduction, I want to call out how Big G today looks refreshingly, surprisingly crystal clear doppelganger of Bill Belichick today. Nice sweatshirt.
Looks like Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah, the Bunk. The Bunk. You mean the Bunk.
The Bunk.
Yes.
Oh, the Bunk.
Is,
me.
Oh, did I say Big? Yeah, no, I meant
right
Bunk.
now.
I meant Bunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's freaking cold here, man. I had to put the hoodie on. The one thing I don't have is, well, I'll tell you, as a 60-something-year-old man, I do not have a 20-year-old girlfriend. Thank you. Like Billy B.
Beyonce.
You just got to get out more.
Beyonce.
That's so good. We've talked about this before. I can't. Every time I see a picture of him with that girl, that is friggin' disgusting, and I can't.
Oh, can you imagine his games at North Carolina? They're gonna be showing her in the stands.
Oh my
with her
God.
parents.
And how about, I keep thinking about
With his and her parents.
Well, her
Oh, my
parents.
God.
That's what I
Not
keep
his.
thinking about. Her parents, like, oh, we're so proud of our daughter. She's dating this friggin' 70-year-old bastard. Holy shit. It's grotesque. Sickening.
Hey,
What?
good for him.
No, I that is not a good for him. I'm sorry, man. There's a
He's
lot
on
of things
campus. He's on a college campus. Anything goes.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just ask Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
That's Urban.
Oh,
Joey
God.
Freshwater.
And Joey,
They've been there.
Joey
Joey
Freshwater.
Freshwater.
I'm sure Musburger spent the night or two somewhere.
Oh, not the old mush
no.
brush.
God.
The
No.
old mush brush.
His favorite line was, look at all these co-eds.
Mush
Then he's
brush.
talking about all the quarterbacks' eyes. Look at those eyes.
Look at those.
Baby
Look at the
blues.
eyes.
God.
Look at- The
It is-
quarterbacks get all the good ones, don't they, Kirk?
It's friggin' gross. Hey, you know,
the camera's slowly zooming in.
I saw
Oh my God,
I saw
yeah,
a
I forgot
picture
about
of what's it, Zimmer, right? The coach for Dallas. He's gonna marry the girl like she looks like she's like 30 years younger than him too. What the hell, man? We're in a bizarro world. I got to tell you, it's
Every
grotesque.
$10 million knocks a year off.
No
your age.
shit. That's gross. And Belichick, come on, he is a friggin' total frog. He is grotesque.
He's the one that's hardest
Wow.
to believe because he has no personality even for an old person.
No, he
Actually,
doesn't.
He
He's-
does have a personality.
There's
We just don't
nothing
see it.
likable there.
No.
We don't see it. We don't see him behind. Not on camera, though.
Can you imagine him even laughing at a joke, Nick, that you told?
Come on.
I watched him laugh at Tom Brady's roast, the jokes, but he looked like a mechanical man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good God. And she was attracted to that. Come on.
Reeled her right in.
So, oh, boy.
He looked
Horrible.
surprisingly like Benjamin Franklin.
Well, that actually makes sense because Benjamin Franklin was just whoring around in France when he was old.
Not
Yeah,
Benny
was that
F.
a
Not
powder-
big
nice
Benny
powder
F.
on
Do
his head?
not talk shit
Oh.
about Benny F.
That's exactly what he did.
We're a historical podcast now. Let's get into it.
I know, we're going to switch. We
Where'd he
can come
go?
up.
How powdered was Benjamin Franklin's wig?
Oh, God. That's sad lad. Wow. Woo!
Well, hey, we're starting off 2025 in a bang here.
I like it.
Oh,
You know what I
man.
was thinking? I was hoping. I don't know why I thought you might do this, but I thought you were going to mix the Irish accent with the "what's up," and I thought you were going to do some sort of weird mashup, genre mashup.
How would that even? What would that even sound
I don't even know if I could do that.
I don't know, but I was
What would that
imagining
be?
it.
I can work on it.
That's where the hard work comes in. If he wants this,
Yeah.
he's got to go get
Oh
it.
my God.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bunk
Make
has
it
homework.
so. Make it so.
No, my friend. Make it soap.
Oh God.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
Jean-Luc
that's
is not the best Captain Kirk, by the way, FYI.
You have
So
to
we'll move
describe
on.
to our audio listeners here what you
Yep.
held up.
That might have been the best gift I got this year. Is a bar of soap that's Jean-Luc Picard's Make It Soap.
Oh boy.
It's got him on the front. And it's so
Jean-Luc.
good. On the side it says engaging. And the other side, my favorite line: the bath must be drawn here.
Oh my God. Come on, Kirk's the best. James T.
No. Nope.
All right, where are we going with this pick?
All right, I think we have to start off with the NCAA. Are you going to play music like you promised, or is it just not coming through there, Big Dog?
No, you guys can't hear it. I mean, I don't know. I can play it.
Well, that's the joke. You got to keep going with it. Don't give up.
All right, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be transitioning to the NCAA football. Ready?
You're still singing to us.
The music he chooses is the worst royalty-free
Yeah,
music you
sounds-
could ever find.
Sounds like we're watching NCIS. CSI Miami.
No, this was a good one. You couldn't hear it, obviously. It was a good one, I'm telling you.
I've been in house and heard it, my friend.
This one's a good one. FYI, good.
All right. I just want to say you gave me a lot of crap there, Big G, and I was only 4 points off the final score of that Penn State-Boise State game. I said 35-10. It was 31-10.
Okay.
Calling you out. That's it. All right. Anyways.
Wait, hold up. If we're doing averaging, your boat race didn't pan out, so I think you're back to nil.
I didn't bring that up on
Three
purpose.
other games, yeah.
Yeah, you also said that one of the teams that got a bye would win the national title, and that can't happen.
You know, that might be
Oh.
a good place to start, is to just refresh what we all said what was going to happen, and then kind of reality struck.
Because I actually
Okay.
don't remember our picks
Because they're going to be applicable to this next week. Obviously, half the teams are going to play in just a few days.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all picked Penn State over Boise State.
we did.
We all picked Texas over Arizona State.
Ooh, that was a close
All
one.
of us. I was the most wrong in that game, and then it kind of worked its way down. But we were all wrong on the final score there. We were split decision. Me and Medium G, me and Gary picked Ohio State, and Big G and the Bunk picked Oregon.
God, that was
Bad pick.
that was a
Bad pick.
Saw that one
blowout.
coming, boys.
No, you
And then I
didn't. It's
No,
like,
you
I
didn't.
picked
you
Georgia.
didn't see that
How
coming.
Georgia.
adamant was I last week that they were going to win? I gave a 10-point victory. I said they're going to blow them out, and I was just being conservative, being like 10 because it's the playoff game.
All right.
And then I went
I'm
on
not-
and on and on about postseason Ohio State.
That's fine, but you can't even begin to say you knew 34 points in like the first half.
For sure not. No, but I
That was nuts.
100% called out that they level up. And that was the
Yeah.
clearest example. A team they've already played, team that beat them. I'll go down saying that Ohio State should have won the first one also, but they didn't. But they came out postseason. This is what they do. They always build to the very end, Ohio State. And now they got Texas. We'll get into it for my thoughts.
we
on
will
Texas.
get
It
into
might
it,
surprise
mister.
you, actually.
All right, when then Georgia and my Notre Dame
I think I was
fighting
the only one that
Irish.
picked Georgia.
Who picked
I think
Georgia?
I picked
Did you
Georgia.
pick
I
Georgia?
know I picked
Were you a Kirby smart boy? Little smarty
Yes.
pants?
What was your point spread for Georgia on that one? Did you think they were going
Very,
to win by a lot?
very low. I
like a
thought it
field
was
goal?
going to be like 3 points.
Notre
I
Dame.
thought it was going to be
Notre
like
Dame,
a field
Which
goal.
game?
They
What
killed
was the most surprising that turned out completely different than you saw? Just a shock.
I mean, I think the most shocking thing that you saw is the 34-point lead like that from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, you just didn't see that coming. Also, Georgia's offensive line could not stop anything.
Yep.
It was crazy, the pass rush or the push up front Notre Dame was getting. That was very surprising.
Told you they were good.
And yeah, that was the end of the game right there. When they started getting that push and Georgia couldn't go anywhere but backwards, game over.
Well, they had no rushing yards.
There we go,
Georgia's
Greg.
quarterback had.
Now you're getting to it.
Yeah, Georgia's quarterback had negative 21 rushing yards. He did throw the ball. So to me, that Georgia team, regardless of who their quarterback was going to lose. Carson Beck wasn't going to do any better.
No, he wouldn't have done anything.
No, but you can argue that he may make better decisions because of the amount of time. I don't think he's winning that game.
Stockton didn't make bad decisions at all. He made great throws. Notre Dame's D-line just shit on Georgia. They destroyed any offensive game plan because Georgia could move the ball through the air, which is crazy. I thought it would actually be the opposite. I thought Frazier was just going to torch Notre Dame.
Factor in the 35-yard plus, 2 of them probably touchdowns that the receivers just, there was not a defender in the camera and they dropped the ball.
I know that was bad. But they've been battling that all year.
They've been battling that all year. But that gets to my point, I think, I know Bunk's going to go and praise Notre Dame, but I see that as I saw Georgia. I'm not shitting you, on the same level. They were a maybe Clemson at the end of the season when all was said and done. Like, they had nothing left. They were scraps, dude. Their line was depleted, injuries all over the fucking place, and they can't run the ball. When your offensive line starts having injuries, you're cooked in the playoffs. Against a hungry Notre Dame? No way, dude. But that's where I'm going to say that I walk away from Notre Dame being impressed because they beat Georgia flat out. You can't take that away from them. But this is not that Georgia coming into town. Penn State's way better in every facet.
Yeah. Well, I will say,
especially at the front.
Georgia ran the ball against Texas D-line.
Georgia ran the ball.
They've had a lot
of injuries since then.
They had their O-line.
This is like 5 games ago. Like, it is Georgia.
No, it was the conference championship game.
Georgia is falling apart. It literally just.
What are you talking about?
Greg, it's the end of the season. They barely made it to where they got to go. They have so many injuries. They lost their quarterback. It is insurmountable what they had to overcome.
Georgia in the SEC conference championship ran the ball on Texas.
Exactly, they did, which is a lot of my issues when we get to Texas, Ohio State. That's a Texas problem too. How many teams ran on Texas?
Georgia.
Not many. Yeah, Georgia. That was it.
Georgia was about it. And now you can say Arizona State, the scat like.
But I don't count that because these playoff games, you can scheme an entire game against a team. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't that you should include it in the averages for the season for your total stats, but they're completely different games.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that one. I will say I think I was most surprised by Texas going to double overtime because I'm going to be honest with you, he doesn't make that pass on 4th down, and that kid's not open. It's game over. Right. I actually did think it was game over before that. And I really thought Texas would blow them out. I did not think it was going to be a close game.
How could they not score?
I don't know. They've had issues. They've got issues scoring.
They just couldn't run the ball. They had 54 total yards, 53 total yards rushing. If you can't run the ball, you're cooked.
Right? At this level, they don't score. You got to have a backup. You're a top 4 team. Like, you have something.
The backup was Quinn Ewers playing out of his shoes. He threw for 322 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he saved them. He definitely saved them. And the kicker, who was great last year, he blows this year.
Yeah, he's having a hard time.
Which is
having a hard
time. You can't miss 2. I mean, they're going to miss.
His hair is longer.
He got a scholarship.
It's weighting him. It's weighting him to one side. He's leaning too much.
I know.
From here on out, a field goal can win it.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's no more room for error.
I agree.
No, there's no more room, especially not this game they're about to get.
So we got four.
There's zero room for error.
We got 4 teams left. Thursday night game and a Friday night game, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I think both games are going to be pretty close, to be honest with you. I don't see any blowouts happening.
Yeah, same. I have these both within a touchdown at most. I think whoever's losing in both these games is going to be within striking distance in the fourth.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I think so too.
You think in both of these games?
Both of these games, yeah. These teams just don't quit.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I do think. Yeah, I think you're going to see 2 very, very competitive close games.
Well, hopefully they're going to go in our favor.
Hopefully, but I mean, okay. So let's break down those games then. Let's look at Penn State. Let's look at that Penn State game.
That's going to be a tough game. Both teams are strong up front.
They play in Miami.
Yep.
Here's what I see. If you make Riley Leonard one-dimensional, it's going to be a much easier game. Plus, I think Love might be out this game. He might be out. So that's a big blow to their backfield.
That would be a big blow.
I know they have some other backs, but it's a big blow. If you can contain Riley Leonard's legs and force him to use his arm to beat you, I think that that secondary and those linebackers are just too fast on Penn State. I think that's where the game gets controlled. If Riley Leonard starts running on you, man, it's going to be a long day for Penn State.
I think that's impossible just based on this entire season sample size. There hasn't been one quarterback who's been able to run. Not that they faced many running quarterbacks, but Riley Leonard isn't a run first quarterback. He's a great scramble, make the most out of nothing, pick up 7. I wouldn't say he's like Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a true running quarterback. And if anything that Penn State does well in the front 7, it's contain runners. You just don't run on Penn State. They'll put a spy, even if Abdul Carter's not in the game, which would be a crushing blow to Penn State. We have a backup in Emmanuel Vanover who can spy just as well. I don't see Riley on his legs being a threat. He might pick up some really third down, like 3rd and 2s, but I don't see him doing what he did in the last game where he was picking up like 20 yards a chunk.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at game by game, I mean, he's run a lot.
He's run a lot. But you can't. I'm saying at this level, you've read this. Penn State is like the final boss of trying to scramble. I've watched their games closely. You just don't. Traditionally, the past 5 years, it's very difficult to do that on Penn State as it is. This team in particular, they put a whole guy just in reserve, usually Abdul Carter, who can play the line, take a step back, and spy the quarterback. And he's faster than every quarterback out there. At least more than Riley Leonard. So that, to me, that's the non-issue. They will not beat Penn State on Riley Leonard's legs.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's going to be a really low scoring game because Drew Aller had 2 great series last game, and then he kind of sucked the rest of the game. And he's just not consistent. I don't think either of those teams are going to score very many points. I think it's going to be very, very low scoring. I think it's going to be a field goal that beats one or the other towards the end of the game because I just don't see. I don't see a lot of touchdowns.
The leverage? Who's got leverage on who? Like, where would you say is the gap here? Because they're pretty similar teams in a lot of regards. To me, what makes them different is Notre Dame has a better secondary, and I think they have a better quarterback. It pains me to say it because I think Allard is a great throwing quarterback, but Riley Leonard has played like the better quarterback right now.
And he's played a lot.
That's it. I don't think the running game beats Penn State. I think it's Riley Leonard's arm, and I think it's Penn State's running back.
And it could, you know what? It could come down to special teams.
Oh, it absolutely could.
Which gives Notre Dame a pretty good edge because they've been
Penn State
phenomenal
is
special teams.
Pretty just average, I would say, at special teams.
So looking at Riley Leonard's stats this year, he hasn't thrown for more than 229 yards in one game. Okay? Force him to throw the ball. That's how you win. He has thrown a few picks as well, especially down the stretch here. What they've been doing is running the ball with him. His past 3 games, he has at least 11 carries, and he has at least 50 yards. So they're banking on him running. stop him running and force him to throw, you probably win that game.
I think
kinda where I'm at.
I think the tight ends are going to have. I don't think you're going to get a lot of downfield throws that are going to be complete on either team.
Slants,
I think it's going to be a lot of backfield guys catching. I think it's going to be a lot of tight ends. I just don't see a lot of scoring. I think both teams have a really good defense. They're both physical. I'm not even sure who I'd pick at this point, but I think it's going to be really close. It could be a coaching thing too.
Vegas doesn't even. It's a pick for even Vegas. I think if you were to come out strongly that they're going to win, I'd say you're an idiot because they're so even.
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I don't think. But it could come down to coaching. I will say this: Marcus Freeman outcoached the hell out of Kirby Smart.
Yeah, he willed his team to some wins.
100%.
Well,
that fourth down call was unbelievable in my eyes.
Yeah.
The other thing Freeman does is he understands that Riley Leonard has to be able to run. He understands they have to run. And he is committed to winning or losing on their strength, just like he did against Georgia. It took Notre Dame a long time to get it going, but eventually they figured it out and got going. I mean, Riley Leonard had over 100 yards rushing, and they know he's coming. So I think that's huge for a coach to just say, this is what we're good at. We're not going to you're not going to make us change our game plan. We're going to force the issue. We're going to win or lose on our strength.
In that scenario, we're going to win or lose. No, it's even before then. We're going to do this because we're good at it, and we're still better than you. But when you meet a team who is literally built to stop that, like Penn State is built 1,000% to beat that because they've been fucking torched by Ohio State on this in the past.
No, I get that, but Georgia is built to stop it. They stop everybody else.
Yeah, but
and they stopped Riley Leonard for
Georgia
half.
To me is on another level down this year.
Yeah,
they're on the same level as they're a top 25 team.
Holy moly! Come on now.
They lost to rushing.
They don't look that good.
Lost to running quarterbacks this year.
They don't look that good.
Their offense isn't what it used to be because Beck sucks. But their defense was still good.
You sound like Feinbaum here. A 4-loss team.
The Georgia defense had trouble with running quarterbacks.
Yes.
Look at that Alabama game. They ran all over them, right?
But Jalen Milroe is also like one of the fastest dudes. He was like the fastest guy in Alabama or something.
But he's not the best quarterback.
But Riley Leonard, what I'm saying is Riley Leonard will grind it out. Freeman will say, this is what we do. And we're going to figure out a way to make it work. And it took them like 2.5 quarters to figure out how to run the ball. But once they did run the ball, they weren't busting huge plays, but they were consistent.
If that's
Freeman
the case,
didn't back down from their shit.
If that's the case, I will say Penn State easily wins the game. If that's the mindset they have going in is you had the best running back, whether you believe that or not, come in and say, we're going to run 35 times down your throat. And Penn State said, fuck you, do it. Average 2.9 a carry, be my guest. This is literally what Penn State is built for, to stop this. If you're going to beat Penn State, they have a tick above average secondary in the back. No, I would say that they're a good secondary. They're not great, though. They're not to the level of Notre Dame. That's where you beat Penn State. That's why Boise they threw. That's why Oregon torched them. That's why Ohio State grounded out. They picked up all their first downs in the air. That's how you beat Penn State. If you can't throw, you don't win.
Well, so it's going to be, and I think Notre Dame's defense is up front, and I mean they're both really strong teams. I think both their quarterbacks are good. I don't think either of them are great. I still think it's going to come now. If Franklin does stupid shit like the fourth downs and takes chances, then they're not going to win if they do that. And the other thing I really do think it may come down to kickers. Could come down to special teams play.
Field position, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be a really, really close game. And I really don't see very many points being put up in this game. I don't think either team actually puts a lot of points up in general against stronger teams. I mean, they do against weak guys, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be a good one.
Well, I think Vegas had it like a 42 or 43. Would you take the under even then?
I think it's under. I mean, I don't.
In the teens to low. Yeah.
I think it's in the teens. I think they're both in the teens.
If Notre Dame's run defense is like it was, and they slow down Katron, not even just stop him, but slow him down, absolutely, I would take the under on that.
Yeah.
So the over-under on total points is 45.5.
Yeah, I don't see that.
And the money line is on Notre Dame minus 2.5 right now.
Oh, it went up then because it was at 1.5 when I looked at
I
it
guess the
this morning.
spread's on 2.5.
Yeah.
No
The
way
money
it's
line's at
45. No way there's
113.
So
45
that means
points.
people are picking Penn State at that for it
Yeah.
to go up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Boise's D line was getting back to Aller,
Oh, for sure. For sure.
so
I actually did
that's
some
kind of
digging.
scary for
That guy from Egypt, I don't know his name, was an absolute animal. And
Oh,
I went
yeah,
back
yeah.
to looked at his other games. That guy has just been killing it all year. And there was like 2 of them. So you know what? Penn State, I'm going to take the sample size that I've seen against a lot of good rushers. They're not elite. They're not like the best I've ever seen. But for the most part, they can contain. I think they matched up, and that was one of Boise's secret sauce they had, is they could rush the quarterback a little bit less than what people were talking about. That guy was legit.
They had a good defense. They had a better, and I think Arizona, and we haven't got to that one. I think both the teams that we thought weren't going to hang actually had pretty good defensive lines.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, so where are you guys at on this then? Who's winning that game? Let's start with Big G. Oh, let's start with Bunk.
Oh,
Big
man.
G, the food in his mouth.
You know,
We're
I-
doing a podcast.
It's late. I'm back on Florida time. It's late.
I got to say, I picked long time ago, I picked Penn State to go all the way.
You did. I didn't even, and you did.
No. I think it's going to be a really close game. I got to stay with Penn, even though my heart goes with Notre Dame, but I'm going to say Penn State 17-16.
So are you saying that because that's what you think is going to happen, or because
No, I think it's going to be close. I just think, number one, if the running back for Notre Dame's not in, I don't think they're just not going to move. I mean, even with him, I agree that they're going to have a hard time moving. But if their number one running back's hurt or even not 100%, it's going to be really, really hard. They really don't have anybody else. And I think they're just going to have a hard
I'm
time.
sorry, I should have asked this in the other one. Maybe you know who's their big receiver. Do they have like one guy? Is it kind of by committee? How does it look in the receiver room?
So they do. It was spread out pretty evenly throughout, but how much of that is Riley Leonard throwing
They
the
don't
ball?
have like a Jeremiah
You know what I
Smith
mean?
who's just soaking up
No,
all
they're
the
not going to
attention.
have a clear, but they have a lot of
Yeah, but they got
really,
guys who
really
can
good
play.
receivers.
Okay.
Yes.
And they always have good tight ends.
sure.
So it's,
Yep.
they're going to make the short throw. I just don't. I'm going to give it to Penn State 17-16. I just don't. I think it's going to be really, really close.
So their leading receivers have 458 yards in the year.
Yeah, which is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a spitting image. If you take Warren out of the conversation for Penn State, I think Penn State's leader has like 600 ish.
And I think Warren could be the difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, well, he better be because that's all Penn State's got to catch the ball.
If Aller sails that ball on him like he was,
That's the thing. He's so inconsistent. I mean, he could
So
come out and just have a
inconsistent.
great game, and then hey, you're great, but he came out with 2 great drives and then nothing. So it's tough. I that's why I don't think it's going to be a lot of scoring. Defenses are tough. I'm going to go 17-16. I'll stick with that on Penn State.
All right, Big G, what you got?
I don't even want to pick a score.
You don't have
I
to
don't
pick
know.
a score.
Let's say
Who's
who do you
winning
think is
this?
gonna win? Yeah.
Whew, it's 100% after just watching that last game, how Penn State uses Katron. That guy is an
God, he
animal.
just spit on himself.
No, it was a bubble or something.
He's,
If Katron,
man, he's
saw
falling
it.
apart over there.
I'm falling apart.
Big
I
G's
think his
falling
tooth
apart.
fell out.
Sick. If Katron, well, I don't know. I will say, I don't know what y'all were watching. The 2 backup running backs for Notre Dame did fine. They're not a single Jeremiah Love, but they got one dude that's big and is relatively fast that was breaking tackles. And then they got 20 out of the backfield that can catch the ball. I really don't think it's a huge drop off in their backfield. Look, you know what? I'm gonna go with Penn State, but only because I hope Franklin watched the tape and saw that Katron is an absolute monster. I think,
I'm going to send
honestly,
you
I
that
think
James Franco
that's the win.
meme of him in a noose just saying, first time, huh? First time. He's
Well,
seen the video,
because
Greg. He's seen it and he doesn't give a shit.
I know, but he just, well, you know what though? He was getting the ball on just, regular counters and turn him into 25-yard rushes. He's not going to do necessarily that against Notre Dame,
Right.
but I think the running game for Penn State will give Aller enough time to make his mistakes, but still make big throws. I'm going to go with Penn State close.
Okay. I'll go next. I'm on Penn State on this game. I think it's going to be the defense bailing out James Franklin again. Hopefully it's not on their own 20. Hopefully it's not. If it's on their own 20 and they go for it, something stupid like that, then it's
They
going to
don't
be Notre
deserve.
Dame's
If he
game.
does stupid
Third
shit like
time's
that,
the
they don't
charm.
deserve it.
Yeah.
They don't deserve it if
Okay.
he does that shit.
That's
That's
2 games in a row
exactly-
he's
thank you.
done it.
That's the sentiment I have. Is that these dudes are they're dudes out there. Just let them win the freaking game or lose it based on their skill. Get the hell out of the game.
Yes. Yeah. So I am on Penn State on this game. It is going to be close. I'm both teams in the 20s just because those defenses are going to be worn out by the end of the game. You're going to get some late scoring. If I to like 24-21 as a final. But I just think having it in the teens, that means that neither offense is doing anything.
Yep.
So it'd be hard to pick that. I think there's time on the field is a problem for Penn State's defense. If they sit on the field too long, Notre Dame's going to take advantage and going to win that game. But again, that comes to James Franklin making stupid calls. If he makes a stupid call, he's going to put his defense on the field again. So, but I am tight 24-21 Penn State.
All right.
And here we are. And here we are at the semifinals, my fellow brothers. Who would have thought it? To be honest, of our family, it's always been Texas, Penn State after I went to school there, and Notre Dame's always been the lingering school, just kind of affiliated with us somehow. I know our one brother loves them, but Catholics maybe. It's always kind of been in our family. When I look at this game, I see a very, very clear matchup advantage for Penn State. Penn State is just every single week for the past 6 weeks runs the ball better and better and better. Not only that, they have both their guys the best they've ever been since their freshman year, probably week 2 freshman year when they just burst on the scene. Both of them are going. Singleton on the last one took a little bit, but that's okay because we got Katron running for 130 and 9 a pop. I think hopefully Aller takes a back seat in this one. Give him his couple super long throws. To me, this is the running back show. You're going to dump it back to the running backs. You're going to grind out 7. You're going to extend drives. You're going to put up 3 to 6, and you're going to just hope to God your defense can hold them to a field goal. Over the course of the game, I think Penn State pulls ahead by 10. They win this game by 10. I think it's about 27-17. I'm not saying it's a comfortable 10. Maybe they get a score late. I think they're clearly the better team. I think Riley Leonard hasn't faced a defense like this yet. Georgia, you may say they played Georgia. This is not your older brother's Georgia, maybe because it wasn't that long ago. This is just not them. They haven't faced anybody. USC, who have they faced with a great D? Nobody. They have, but it's been a while. They're going to come in and struggle for the first quarter and a half. They'll get going, second quarter, third, but ultimately Penn State's not going to slow down. This one's a 27-17 victory. On to the Natty. I hope it's Texas.
Nice. Okay.
I'm switching my pick to Notre Dame.
Go ahead.
After hearing Gary speak, screw you.
I'm going to tell you why. Gary was just saying, so I'm thinking, all right, all Georgia had to do was run the ball to take the pressure off their quarterback also. And Georgia has 3 really good running backs. Frazier runs like a fucking wrecking ball. Etienne fast and runs like a wrecking ball. They could not do shit.
Again, we're going to go up to minute 1 of this podcast. That's a beat down Georgia team.
That dude, oh my god. Okay.
Specifically, Greg, on the line.
They beat down Georgia
specifically
team
on the offensive
Texas
line
twice.
There's a
That's
reason
fine.
why the hardest recruits in the country are offensive linemen. It's so hard to reproduce.
Pump the brakes. And Boise State just blew up Penn State's O-line to get back to Aller. So what I'm going to say
moly, dude. Let's
what I'm
do
gonna
this.
They did it. I'm going to say Notre Dame's going to have the same game plan. Sell out against the run. Make Aller beat you deep.
Okay, Greg, let's take that situation, okay? I'm turning my eyes from Nick to you, from last week to this week. How else is Notre Dame going to win if Penn State slows Riley Leonard's legs, period? I don't give a shit if Love's playing or not. Say he gets 80.
I don't either.
Okay, how do they win if Riley Leonard can't run the ball?
He will run. What I'm saying is Freeman's going to force it. He might only have 50 yards.
If he doesn't,
he will. He will. It's just like you said. That
he just will. Although no team has done it.
How many teams have you played where their quarterback never?
The Ohio State running backs didn't do it. The Oregon running backs didn't do it.
Genty had 100 yards.
Oh, he was 2.9.
He didn't have 100 yards on Penn State.
He did. He had 104. He was 2.9 a carry.
He had 104 yards. And 2.9. Penn State hasn't played it. They haven't played a team where the entirety of their rushing game starts with their quarterback.
Holy shit, dude! It's called the Big Ten, Greg. This is what 3/4 of the teams do. Notre Dame is a Big Ten team.
They throw the ball for less than 300 yards all season? 220 yards max?
I'll introduce you to Indiana, my friend.
Okay, a good team. A good team that made the playoff. Indiana threw the ball. Indiana's quarterback and Riley Leonard's quarterback. Is that what you're trying to tell me right now? You're just trying to tell me that Notre Dame hasn't faced a defense like Penn State, but now you're telling me that Penn State has faced a quarterback and an offense like Notre Dame? That doesn't work. I don't give a shit who Notre Dame played.
Greg, let's break this down. Let's break this down for you.
50 yards. Riley Leonard gets 50 yards. Penn State was giving up a shitload of passes to the tight end for Boise.
Here we go.
Notre Dame's going to find a way to score, and they're going to lock the run down. Probably not. Katron's going to run. But Notre Dame's going to sell out on defense. They're going to sell out to stop the run, make Aller beat them, and they've got the defensive secondary to half-ass hold Warren. I mean, he's going to get
let's think about that argument real quick. Let's throw it to the receiver you don't even know the name of, Greg, at Notre Dame. Maybe he'll score 7 touchdowns for you. Oh, wait, let's give it to the running back.
7. They did
give it to the running back. Might not be playing. How about Riley Leonard, who was going to rush for, Greg said 50 yards is going to beat Penn State. Notre Dame has one chance.
Him moving
they have one chance to win this game. It's either they're going to grind out long drives on Riley Leonard picking up first downs and throwing slants.
You guys are crazy.
Or Penn State has 7 different ways to beat Notre Dame. They have tight ends. They have receivers.
They do have
good hit like they did in the last game. They have great running backs. They have a good line. They have a defense that can win you a game on its own.
I hear you, and I disagree. I'm saying it's not as lopsided as you're making it sound.
400 in this one, guys. Riley Leonard's going to run on a defense that hasn't been run on.
How many passing yards did Riley Leonard have against Georgia? Like 80?
You just said the first
like
stat
80?
you said in this game was he throws for like 180 or 2, like low numbers.
Nick said that. He hasn't thrown for over 220.
So he's just going to show up to a big-time D and throw for 4?
No, because he didn't have to do that against Georgia either.
I'm telling you in this, Greg, he's not going to be able to run.
You guys, oh my good God, 50 yards? You're telling me he can't put up 50 after he put up?
Nick. We both argued the same point against Nick's last week that Genty was going to get his for 170. We both argued it. We both said Scadaboo was going to go off and do some crazy stuff. Scadaboo, he was okay.
Scadaboo did go off.
Scadaboo went off.
They wrote an entire offense for him. They wrote an entire scheme for that man.
He was the only person
that's exactly
on that
team.
And
they went to double overtime against Texas and probably should have won if Ewers didn't
a fucking field goal.
No, because Ewers actually, like Nick said, pulled the game out of his ass and decided to win it because they had nothing else. They rushed for 50 yards or some shit.
You can flip your sway. I'm going to end it on this. Penn State has 5-6 ways to score. Notre Dame has 2. All right. They both have great Ds. I don't know where you're manufacturing the production on Notre Dame. There's not enough production.
They don't need 40 points to beat Penn State. They just have to slow Aller down. What are you talking about? Sell out, stop the run, make Aller beat you. Aller was sailing the ball over Warren's head. Like, how many overthrows did he have? How many times did he get pressured? Notre Dame's going to sell out. This is a playoff. It's do or die. So I'm just saying.
Thursday, 6:30.
Yep.
Everybody watch.
Oh shit! I'm gonna miss
right.
the game.
He can't fucking watch it. He's not going to be here. I'll be watching it. Penn State.
You will.
Go State. Go State, baby.
I want Penn State. I just want to be clear. I want Penn State to win. I'm just changing my mind about how the game is going to go.
Woo! Balls are rolling.
That was. Whew.
I told you, hey, Pick, I
some
told you we
heart
had the
medicine.
2 best pair of hands in the business here. Could roll balls.
No, don't come back.
Don't say that. That is not what was going on there.
Right. Now that everyone's thoroughly angry.
I don't get angry about
Angry
football.
Beavers.
Let's
I don't like
look at-
flip-
This is
Flip-flopping.
fun.
I don't
To
like
be
the
honest,
flip-flopping.
Well, I remember you
stand
switching
in
your pick
conviction when you
before.
come to Bunk and Pick. All right, you are convicted. Come here with a statement to make. You don't go flip flopping.
That's right. Damn
I
right.
flipped it. I flipped and I flopped.
I
the
like
goddamn
it.
moment.
I like
What are you,
it.
yella?
We got to have it.
You yellow belly.
Shaft shaka.
A big vegetable lasagna over here, Bunk.
All right. Enough of you guys.
All right,
Actually,
now
I want
let's-
more of this.
Now
Want
me
more
and
of
Pick
this.
can argue about Texas. So
Oh boy, here we go.
Quinn Ewers carried that team and won
Yeah,
the game.
he did. He did.
Quinn Ewers won that game. And Texas secondary won that game with the last minute pick.
Yep.
That
I would
was-
say
that
they
was that whole game.
survived. They survived that.
Yeah,
game.
they
They
just
did
survived.
survive
But now
that
they
game.
got
They
Ohio
went-
State.
Yeah, they cannot just survive this game. They need to beat
survival.
Texas. They need to come out and be what they can be.
Can be
Or
tough.
else
Can
they're
I
going to
ask a
lose
question
quick.
to set the stone there, or set the tone?
Set the
Because
stone.
that's
Set the stone, you
Let
ball
me
roller.
set
Go
the
ahead.
stones.
let me set
Set
the
your
stone.
stones.
for
You don't
you.
have
Set
the
those
greatness
stones.
to set.
Bust
Let
our
me borrow your
stones.
hands, Greg.
Crush our stones.
You don't have. Oh my God.
How does How does Texas make it a comp? How do they win? Like, that is not like a stupid question. Like, what? How does it become real that they can win this game?
Manufacture a
I'm-
run game.
Now, I'm going to throw this out there because I was trying to check these stats. Texas rarely, if ever, scores inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, they're
So-
bad there.
They need either Ewers is going to have to go off for like
Explosives,
340, and yeah, they're going to have to be 40-yard plus or 30-yard plus, or like Nick said, they're going to have to manufacture. But you can't. They've tried all year to manufacture a run game, and I don't. If Arizona State held them to 50, that's going to be.
So
That's
But the game before that, they did this all year. Every other game they go
Yeah.
off. It's weird.
Michigan beat them, right?
Michigan did beat them.
Texas has a
Yes.
better defense. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Texas wins this one. Here's why. I think they have a strong, because of their defense, and Texas does have the ability to run, and they have a good quarterback. So they actually have the phases they need. They just have to execute. And Ohio State, man, I know they look great, but now they got to do that 3 times in a row. That's hard, man. They've had 2 unbelievable games, and now you got to have a 3rd unbelievable game to beat another good
So
team.
let's break that down. How did they win the first 2? And how do you see it going different for Texas? Because you think they have a better secondary?
I think
All
they
right,
have
now
a
here's
better
the question.
secondary and a better defense just overall.
Yeah, here's the question. All right. This is how I would break down. Gary, if you had to pick a defense, would you take Texas's or Tennessee's?
Oh, I'd take Texas.
Would you take Oregon's or Texas's?
Oh, Texas, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is one of the better defenses they've seen, especially secondary wise.
That's my question, though, specifically secondary.
Right. So
Mhm.
here's where it comes down to. Here, somebody has to give this game because the 2 cornerbacks for Texas are giving up the least amount of yards in the nation, and the 2 wide receivers for Ohio State are getting the most yards in the nation per game. Somebody's got to give right there. I think your
my
matchups
thoughts
on
on
the
that
outside.
are that Will Howard is he's a good quarterback, but if you had a 50-50, I don't think he's a good enough quarterback to overcome just 50-50 bowls. You know what I mean?
Right, and go back.
I think his receivers are good enough to overcome those.
That's a whole nother question.
Here's my thing. Texas
But
has
Nick's
4
saying
years
that
on tape against
50-50,
him
I'm
already.
saying equal, like it would just nullify.
But he's
You
gonna
got
have a
great
lot of
defender against
he's
a
gonna
great
have a lot of
receiver.
pressure on him though, because Texas
Texas-
Texas defensive line, they put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, so he's not gonna be able to sit back there and just
Yeah.
pick apart any defenses. It's going to be a higher scoring game for sure, but I
Howard
really
has
think
4
Texas
games
can
on
get
tape
them.
against Texas already.
Yeah.
He has 4 games. Texas is the reason he got benched last year.
I like Texas in this game. I think they got a shot.
Of course, I'm going to be biased on it, and I'm going to think that but I will say this is going to be the hardest game that Texas will have played all year. This is the best team Texas has seen all year.
Let me ask you this, Nick.
Hands down.
If you were to face Ohio State, would you rather Texas D or Penn State's D?
Texas' defense.
Okay. Well, let's do a little exercise here because I think that Texas and Penn State are the same. I put them the same. I think now that's not all across the field, but I think that the sum of all the parts would equal to two extremely good defenses in different ways. Ohio State only scored 20 on Penn State. And yes, this is a quote unquote rivalry or whatever you want to call it, but it's not a true rivalry like Michigan. So you can't throw them all the way out. Okay. They only ran, how much did they run for? They ran for 176 and threw for 182. Mm-hmm. So even against a really good team, they said they're going to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And Will Howard, Penn State said it isn't going to beat us, I suppose, because he only threw for 180. I mean, if that's the case Texas for Texas, that's what that plays right into Texas's hands.
Here's the other thing. Texas has not been an underdog all year like this. Texas is getting zero shot from everybody. And now it is motivation. It's gotten to the point where it is 100% motivation. You're hearing all week they don't deserve to be there because Michael Taft's targeting. Well, what about Isaiah Bond's targeting? Oh, that was to the chest, whatever. But they're still talking about it. They shouldn't be there. They weren't good enough. They're going to get blown out. That's what Texas needs. That's what they did against Alabama last year. They held on to that underdog shit where everybody said they didn't have a chance, and they came out and destroyed them. I could see Texas coming out on fire. I will say this Ohio State team, roster-wise, man, you have to say this is not, if it's not the best, one of the top 3 best roster-wise teams in the nation, 2 deep. They have every piece. They really do. It's going to come down to who wants it more in the end, because Texas has the pieces too. Who wants it more? Who's going to play more physical? I think Texas can play very physical, especially against those wide receivers that might be tall but are a little skinnier. Get on them, play press, and kind of just put it on the running backs. Put it on Ohio State's running backs. Trust that your linebackers can kind of cover enough ground to stop them. At least slow them down. They're going to get their yards. You have to slow them down, though.
Yeah,
I'd have to
go ahead.
Get in there, Bunk.
No, I'm just saying. Ohio State's played a lot of good teams. They haven't played Texas. If Texas plays well, they can beat anybody. If they got to score. Their defense bails them out a lot, but they're definitely giving up points here. I think, and if Ewers can actually hit some of these guys in the passing game, I think it's going to be a good game. But I think there's a formula to beat Ohio State. We've already seen it. So, I mean, and I think Sark's a good coach. He's not stupid. I think he's going to try to look at that, and he's got the personnel, I think, to do it. So that's where I'm at. What do you got, Big G?
Go ahead, Big G.
I'd have to disagree with Pick on the motivation thing. Because if last week having a freshman quarterback and that meathead Scadaboo talking shit to the media and that didn't get him going,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying listen to Sark's interviews all week. Listen to what the message is to the team. It's much different. It's completely different.
If you have to message a team that's in the playoff, but if you had to message differently from last week to this week and your team wasn't the same motivated as a playoff team, then that is a team fucking attitude problem. Because Ohio State, I will agree with Gary, is a different animal because of their attitude going into the postseason. If you don't have that ingrained, a head coach can't change that. It has to already be happening. And so that's just strictly just me saying the motivation or their mentality. If they weren't already there, that is a fucking problem. Like they should have been there.
18-year-old kids are pretty easy to convince. So you convince them that they're an underdog, they're going to think they're an underdog all week.
Right, but that's a culture thing. Ohio State, like Gary said, this is pre-Ryan Day. Ohio State in the postseason is crazy. That's a culture that's built into that place.
It's a tradition, is what it is.
It is. No,
It's
I'm
a
saying
mentality. Texas doesn't have that like monster in them yet. They're more
they
analytical.
will. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see an extremely motivated, very, very jacked up team going into that game. Think that's going to be huge.
I've seen Texas defense play that way, and Texas offense not be able to support that turnaround. Texas offense isn't able to take advantage of that energy that the defense has. If they don't, I'm going to be the very first play of the game. If I was Sark, I'm taking a fucking shot downfield to Golden. No matter what. I want Sark to show it in his play calling that Texas is saying, fuck you, we're not backing down. Here we come. First fucking play on offense. Take a shot downfield to Golden. Why? No matter what happens. Because at least you're showing them you're not going to back down. If he runs the fucking ball on first down, that's a problem. On their very first possession, on their very first play.
That's not a problem. I think that
is a problem.
That's what I would call.
Because you're setting this. You want to show your team too, right? Your play calling is also proving to your team what you think they can do. So, I'm nervous about.
That's what I'm saying. The offensive line has no shot, right? That's what they're hearing. You know what? Let the offensive line go out and maul somebody on first down and go get 10. Yeah. Go get 15 on the ground. I think that's huge. I personally would start the game that way.
I think the Texas defense will absolutely wear on Ohio State's offense. I don't know if Texas offense can wear on a two deep Ohio State defense.
No, it's going to come down to can the running backs get going.
It's going to be Ewers having to be laser accurate and play calling from Sark.
I hate because I've been the one against this all year. But bring Arch in to run the ball. Create running. If you can't run the ball with running backs, create running plays. They got to play somehow.
Yeah,
he is a good runner of the ball. Yeah, run options, and then start throwing off that a couple times.
Yeah,
give 1 to 2 plays with Arch.
Yeah.
Let Arch have a little bit more than 2 plays a game. That might be the secret sauce.
That would have been so much more successful if you would have done that more consistently at the end of the year. Yeah. Give him like 10 to 15 play stretches.
Right, but why not try it? I mean, at this point, you try everything.
At this year, throw everything out as long as you get the win.
Here's what you don't throw out. You don't throw out your kicker that's missing everything over 40 yards.
Yeah.
You go for it.
That requires you to call plays that can score.
They're going
when you're inside the 25.
You go for it. You go for it if it's 4th and 4 and it's a 43-yard kick. You go for it at this point. Mm-hmm. He's missed too many of them.
I disagree with that. I think that's an underdog mentality. And if Texas is what you say they are, they will kick the field goal. They'll take the points and trust the D. You don't play like that if you feel like you're the better team. But you're saying Texas feels like they belong and they're the better team.
Texas does feel like they belong.
If they stroll into that stadium saying we're going to go for it 4th and 4 on a tie game, they lost. They won't beat Ohio State.
That's not true.
That is true.
I actually disagree with that mentality part.
Greg, if they make half of them, half of those would end up in a field goal anyways.
But look, I mean, just watch the Lions Vikings game yesterday. Going for it on 4th isn't we got to get this or we're done for. That's a statement saying we're going to get this. We get 4 downs and you can't fucking stop us.
But it's also saying we're going to give you the ball at the 36, and I believe that my team is just better than you on D.
100%.
Yeah,
I think Texas D can hang the whole game.
That's Texas' identity this year is the defense.
In my eyes, you have to get again. I hate to do this to you guys.
Wait, are you turning into a fucking your paper guy? You're
not a paper guy. This when I talk about Ohio State, it's 20 years of pure misery. All right, it is. I see what happens. I've seen every shape, form of game that all these teams play against them late in the year. The one that wins is the one that scores points. If you walk away with nothing, you can't, because they're gonna score a touchdown. You have to be constantly putting points on the board. 3, 7, 3, 3, 7, 7. As long as you are just continually pounding them, then you have a shot. None of these underdog teams go into Ohio Stadium or wherever they're playing Ohio State and say on 4th and 4 we're going to go forward. We need the touchdown, which is why I wanted to hear Nick's kind of mentality on it. If it's we need a touchdown, we're going to lose, then they already lost.
I'm not saying that. I'm
yeah,
saying
I know. That's why I asked you to clarify.
My kicker can't hit anything from over 40 yards right now, and he's money from inside 35. Get to 35 yards.
Get to 35 yards, yeah.
Okay, you got to take all the points you can get.
We're talking just like the rest of everybody that's saying Texas is the underdog. I actually think I agree with Bunk. They match up 100% personnel-wise. They have the better quarterback. They
not right
possibly
now. Not. I would argue
Ewers is.
They do.
Ewers is.
I think Ewers is an MVP of his team. Whatever his name
look at every game.
Not. No, Nick, hold on. Let me finish.
He's the number one.
Ooh, he got pick is hot now, baby.
I have 4 months of saying that I wanted Manning to play, and I'm telling you that Ewers is better.
I'm not saying that they're a better or worse quarterback. What I'm saying is that what the Ohio State quarterback, what he can do to just all his weapons, he has so much more opportunity than Quinn Ewers. If Quinn Ewers doesn't manufacture shit out of his ass half the time, they don't score.
Ewers has phenomenal receivers.
Yeah,
he has
weapons.
A phenomenal tight end.
And why didn't they score 40 last week?
Because of play calling and no run game.
Well, it doesn't matter what the guys on the field are doing then. What I'm saying is Ohio State is putting up those numbers. Their quarterback is completing touchdown passes. They are converting in the red zone. They are converting a high third down percentage. And you guys are saying they're just going to walk into Texas and get beat. Like, you have to slow this animal down somehow.
They're going to slow it down. Also, Howard, very interception prone. Texas, best intercepting team in the country. They got the most turnovers in the nation. Howard will make mistakes if he gets pressured. He's going to have to force the ball. Texas is just like Notre Dame against Penn State. Sell out, stop the run, make Howard beat you in this. But the difference is Texas secondary is ridiculous.
Howard will beat you in that situation.
He will not.
You have to play a balanced D. You got to be really smart on rushing and not rushing.
2 picks.
You have to show a lot of faint coverage drop out in the back. You got to go fake no look and drop the 2 high safety. This is what you have to do to beat Ohio State.
No, I disagree. Michigan did it with just some willpower and a paperclip. And
Michigan did it with like 130 years of hatred on their shoulder pads. That game's different. You just need to just complete that game. It doesn't count for anything in terms of trying to match up.
It does if a lesser Michigan team did something, coaches find something on tape.
But it's been 2 games of Ohio State destroying Tennessee and Oregon, 2 of who people say were 2 of the better teams in the country.
Oregon was surprising, but they did the same thing they did to Indiana in that game. Absolute onslaught from the jump. And then then Lanning had to just incinerate every plan he had and just fucking go for broke. But Texas defense is way better than Oregon's defense.
And Oregon does not have a bad D. I think you're not giving them credit.
Not bad. They're a top 10 defense.
That's a good defense.
Top 10 defense. Top 10. Texas.
Texas secondary is top 2 or 3.
Yeah, no. I think Texas is debatably the best secondary in the country.
I think it comes down to you are going to put your cornerbacks on an island. It is going to come down to, are their wide receivers going to beat Texas cornerbacks, or are Texas cornerbacks going to lock them down? That's the game. That's the whole game right there. Everything else, it almost mirrors each other besides the run game for Texas. But explosive plays, both of them are doing really well. Ohio State's running the ball better. They are.
Yep.
Texas and Ohio State throwing stat-wise are very comparable. Quinn Ewers stats and Will Howard stats are very comparable. Where it comes where the true matchup of this game is for me are the Texas cornerbacks going to stop those 2 wide receivers? And if you stop those 2 wide receivers, you turn the game into a slugfest, into a grinding game. That's how Texas wins it out, right? Because Texas has the guys in the motor to keep going and keep up. But if that defense is on the field for 94 plays again, that game's over. Ohio State's winning that by a wide margin. It can't be. You have to have more than 64 snaps in the game. It comes down to Texas secondary stopping the passing game. For me, that's where I'm at on it.
Are you gonna? Was that your prediction? You throwing a score, or are we still talking?
We can throw Bunk. What you got? I hear you.
I got 28-24 Texas.
Wow.
Okay. I think this. I'm gonna surprise you guys because I think it's going to turn into a higher scoring game. I think the defenses are going to be real friggin' tired at the end of this game.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's going to be back and forth between Quinn Ewers and Will Howard and those wide receivers on both sides. I just think Texas has better cornerbacks than Ohio State does. I am going to go Texas. I'm going to say it's going to be like 34-30.
Okay.
Who's next? Me? I'll go next. We'll save Big G. I see this so different than you guys see it because I think I view Ohio State just much different than you do. Number one, because I watched like every game because I hate them so much. I ended up watching all their games.
Watched them too.
Because I got to know going into that Penn State game how they looking. And I think of any year you could pull Ohio State, this might be the one that you're hoping to get the card on because in the past 10 years or so of really watching them, this is the worst offensive line they've had. Now, they're good. They're really good. But people do kind of get in there. So if you were to get an offensive line to go against, it's this one. The issue to me is Texas can't stop the run in this game. I think that I think Chip Kelly is amazing. I think he's the best coach that's not a head coach right now in America. He's insanely creative, and he has just a treasure trove of talent to pick from to give the ball to. I don't even think Will Howard has to throw the ball more than 20 times in this game to win. And I think they win by at least 12. I say it's 34-20.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
I think it's
Wow.
I think it's going to expose Texas for the lack of run D that they have.
Okay. Well,
You say what you want about Arizona State, but Scadaboo is better than Ohio State's running backs.
No,
He got his yards.
not even close.
Scadaboo
Scadaboo
was
is
their
a-
whole offense.
Greg, they threw the ball, they slanted them the ball, they screened him the ball, they pitched him the ball. They like how much? That's ridiculous. The dude was their entire offense. You can't just say he was everything to them. Ohio State can afford to have 15 of them on the field. They got 2 wide receivers that are better than him, 2 running backs.
15 running backs? Dude, oh my God. No.
Greg, what I'm saying is that Scadaboo wouldn't be a start. He wouldn't be a starter on the Buckeye team right now.
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding with you, dude. He wouldn't. Judkins is better.
Oh my God.
Hands down.
Judkins should have stayed at Ole Miss.
Why? He's about to win a natty.
Oh, well.
ooh, I guess we know who he's picking.
I think Gary's been singing on the Cuyahoga River.
I just hate them so much that I respect them so much. You know, it's like
I'm not
but
saying-
you know
no,
what?
I respect them too, Gary.
I respect them, but you're blind. You've allowed your hate to blind you to the facts.
maybe convince me because I think that is a possibility.
Howard is going to get pressured.
Yeah,
And
I said he will
And
too.
Taff and he makes mistakes when he gets pressured, and Taff is going to pick him off because the guy's a ball hawk.
But in my scenario,
There you go.
he's going to throw 20 passes. That's it. And probably half of those are going to be screen slants and maybe 4 deep balls. Like, I think they keep this thing at the line of scrimmage and just beat Texas with speed and running game.
But Texas D line and their fucking linebackers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know that, but they have not faced this and they haven't faced it for 4 quarters.
What are you talking?
I'm saying that Ohio State's better. I'm saying they're better. They win by 12.
Okay.
Get your pick off before I'm starting to get
grotesque.
upset with you again, to be honest with you.
That's grotesque. I think we got a Big Ten homer here. He's been drinking the Buckeye water that's poisonous, from what I hear. I've never been.
I think a dream scenario would be Texas, Penn State. That would be amazing. And if you're asking me to pick with my heart, I want Texas to just obliterate Ohio State. But I just don't see it. I mean, I know I've been talking about them. I'm a fan. I hate them. From what I see on the field from Ohio State, I can't just get rid of that. What they did to Tennessee, how easy they made it look. What they did to Oregon, who nobody has done to Oregon. Only they did. And maybe Penn State 80% at least offense. Just they're a different team. I think Texas is going to have to look. They need an entire different game plan against this team. They cannot just walk into it like it's an SEC team that they played. This is a different team, even for Big Ten play. Postseason Ohio State requires a complete game plan.
Holy shit. No. I mean, they do, but it just not any more than any other team, because at some point you got to say who we are. You can't say who we are playing.
What's their holes, Greg? Where do you attack them?
So where can Quinn Ewers attack?
Yes. Where does
Golden over the top? Them? Bonds over the top.
They have a great secondary.
Golden, it doesn't matter. Texas receivers are freaks. Wingo across the middle. Wingo to the outside.
Okay, Jeremiah
tight
Smith,
end.
He scores 14
Gunnar
touchdowns,
Helm.
and then he scores
Gunnar
14
Helm
more
over
touchdowns,
the middle.
and then he scores 14 more touchdowns. I can do the same thing.
But
who's the
you're
guy?
Asking me
middle of the field, deep post. How do they beat them?
All of those. They throw all of them. Golden is all over the field.
12
Wingo
points,
is always across the middle.
All Big
Gunnar
Ten.
Helm is always open over the middle. You're saying Texas doesn't have tools?
No, I'm saying you're not identifying. You're just saying that Quinn Ewers is going to throw a pass. How? In all the 14 teams that have faced them, they couldn't do
routes they were going to run.
They couldn't
Texas has thrown the ball very well this year.
Nick, I said the players and the routes they were going to run, right? I said those with my microphone on.
You did.
Golden is going to blow the top
wearing
off,
an Ohio State jersey or whoever's wearing a Texas jersey is going to have to do something that all 14, 15 teams they played didn't do. And they've played some really good teams.
No, there's teams
I disagree with that. I disagree with that entire mentality.
Okay.
Because I do disagree with that. They are not juggernauts. And if Texas thinks that there's some sort of juggernaut that they have to defeat, then they've already fucking beaten themselves. Texas stacks up at every position except running back.
I think Sark just keeps that national perspective going. But in behind closed doors, all he's telling them is, you guys are good enough, but nobody's giving you a shot. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, 100%. If he figures out a run, well, I don't even want him to do a run package with Arch. I'd rather Arch came in and did RPO and actually threw the ball, because nobody would cover anything because he never throws. But if Sark can find a way to just eke out a running game, I mean, fucking 80 yards on the ground would give viewers enough room to hit big plays. I'm more worried about Texas not hitting big plays and marching and stalling at the 15. That is honestly how Texas loses. If they cannot score in the red zone, if they can't convert, Texas is going to hit their big plays. They're just going to.
What's your prediction?
You want me to tell you all the players? I'm going to say big one. 41-35 Texas. OT.
Yowzer, Bowser.
He had that at like a 3-point game, and then he just got upset with me, and so he upped.
No, that's not true.
I love it.
I don't think this game. Actually, I said overtime is a joke. I don't think this game can be close. I think one offense is going to just hit twice in a row. And
how does Texas react when they go down 10?
Texas will stay calm.
What do you mean? The defense has no problem. The defense has no problem. Yeah, 10 is not too much for Texas because of their explosive plays.
Okay, we'll find out.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
All right, that was great.
Woo.
Bunk, you've been able to just be quiet this whole time.
Oh, man. I'm watching the show. I'm watching the show, baby.
One thing I just don't understand, how you can just will stats and stuff based on no evidence of. And then also you don't have to name the evidence. You can just say he's going to pass, period. And then
I said
make it
Golden over the top.
Make it
let's
so
do it
Star
again.
Trek comes out and they're like, yes, here's your 400.
Do it again.
Here, let's say it again. Golden over the top. Wingo across the middle into the outside. Bonds over the top.
That's what I need, because
Gunnar Helm up the middle.
At this level is what I'm saying is if in the middle of the field deep is the issue for Ohio State, then you could exploit that. If slants underneath coverage was the issue, then you could exploit that. What I'm saying is you're not able to identify any of those gaps for Ohio State.
I literally just said them all. I said all the fucking routes.
Yes,
let's do this.
No, you don't. I'm talking about in the past. You just named 17 routes. I don't want to go through all of them. You think they're going to pass? I don't think.
No, I don't think. I know they're going to pass. They have to pass. Texas has to pass. They rely on explosive plays. It has to happen. Just like Notre Dame has to run the ball against Penn State, no matter what. Texas has to pass the ball, no matter what. That is their game. That is their team. And if you don't say this is our strength and we're going to lean on it, then you have no fucking chance. So yes, Texas is going to pass. Yours will have over 300. It just
probably
will happen.
if they throw a ton.
They're going to throw a ton.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to see how this all
Holy
fires
shit,
here.
Punk.
Holy shit! Woo!
Hey, I crossed that state line. Now I'm in the free state of Florida. Damn it. And I'll speak my mind.
All right.
I like it.
Well, either way, we all feel pretty comfortable about Penn State besides their old Big G over there
You know, it's funny.
who flip-flopped.
We can argue about this. Like, so obviously my camera's not on, but I am pretty red in the face from arguing. And the truth is, all four of these teams can win.
They
I mean,
absolutely
All four
can.
of these teams could beat each
the
other.
truth is, if they can somehow turn the game into what they want to do, that's the ultimate struggle. Is can we get this game on our schedule and do what we want to do and kind of just slow them down? Then any team can win.
Yeah, they're
Well,
you know
absolutely.
they're
100% proved that. The last two. Fuck it. Nobody knows what's about to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
no, and you know what? And if one team starts turning the ball over, I don't care how good they are.
Turnovers.
It's gonna be done. So I think the teams are so close, all four of them. It could be a turnover thing. I don't think one of them is just gonna just outrun any of the other ones, but there's gonna be something like turnovers, bad field position, stupid coaching. It's going to be something like that determines the game. I don't think
one thing that's been biting Penn State, at least I can speak to them, is they are atrocious at penalties right now. That could lose them the game. They had like 13 penalties.
And Texas had a shitload too. I mean, they were killing drives.
Not going to win you the next round.
And they absolutely kill drives, especially when you're getting down close and they start having holding penalties and offsides and shit.
Even just the false starts back in a running team up 5, you might as well just give them the ball. It's
I
really
that
hard
70,
to overcome.
77, that guard for Penn State had like 3 in a row on one
so
drive.
many.
Three.
It was
like,
crazy.
oh my God.
Yeah, but you can't do it at the next level here. I think the teams are close. You're right. We can sit here and do all this other stuff, but it probably comes down to that, or a field goal kicker, or something outside of all the shit that we've been talking about.
Yep.
But I think turnovers are going to be big. I mean, if turnovers are happening, or lots of penalties, killing drives, then they're done. I think any of these teams are going to be done at that point. So it's going to be fun.
I think we're set up
what bowl
for
is
3 amazing games.
What's the other bowl? The Penn State one's the Orange Bowl in Florida.
Texas got Cotton. They're in Dallas.
Yeah,
Texas
they're in Dallas.
Could
they're
feel
in
like a
Jerry
home
World?
game. They're in Jerry World.
And it is friggin' Friday when it's like 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Are they in the dome?
Indoors.
Oh, in the Jerry
Indoors.
Dome.
Yeah.
That's
so it'll
right.
be balmy
I forgot.
75.
They had to play in the old Cotton Bowl where they're outside.
I was literally rolling balls while meatballs while these teams played. So I actually didn't catch much of Texas or Ohio State.
That's why I asked Nick how the Texas didn't score, because I think that my mind just has a big blank. They went up, they looked comfortable, and then you looked over again, and it was late third, and it was like, wow, this is like a game. Like, I don't.
A lot of
Arizona State did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they muddied the game up, and they kept the ball over. They ran 94 plays. They kept the ball away from Texas.
And they had some trick
I don't
plays
remember.
that
I remember Burt missing 2 field goals, but the only other thing I remember about that game is on the second field goal when Burt missed it. Medium G did a front flip over the back of the couch.
Yeah, he did.
It was a front roll, and I felt higher because that's a new couch, and he thought it was going to break.
I know.
That's literally all I remember about that Texas game.
I will say this: Quinn Ewers proved that he is a very good quarterback in that game.
Oh,
he is, and he, you know what? And he is going to do phenomenal at Oregon next year when he hits the transfer portal.
Nick, you brought this up at the party. There is not a candidate in this century who would be better at Oregon than him.
He's going to get about $5 million, and he'll be in Oregon next year.
He's not. He's going in the draft.
No, he's not. I don't think he is.
I think he is.
Oregon will just pick up Arch.
I think he's a $5 million. I was reading $5 million. He can get $5 million and go play another season and improve his draft stock. I think he goes. I think it's Oregon too.
Why can't Penn State buy these guys?
Actually, that's a good question.
Money.
They have a
State's
lot of
because-
money. Penn
because
State has money.
Phil Knight came out and said, "I don't care how much it costs. I want to see a national championship before I die."
Oh,
He
is he
will throw-
backing Oregon?
Yeah, that is why Oregon has all those players because Nike is giving them all the money.
Yeah. Well, that's my prediction pick. I think he hits the portal. I think he takes $5 million and goes to Oregon.
I just don't. I think he'll go to the pros.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. But we'll see. I mean,
see.
you never know.
What's
You
a
never
rookie signing bonus? Is it $5 million for the NFL?
No, it depends on where you draft.
He's not projected to be drafted up. He's like a second, third
So
rounder.
$5 million might be the fiscally responsible decision.
I would.
Or get to that second contract quicker is the fiscally because that's where NFL players make their money.
I'll be honest. I know we're joking about this, but it does bring a segue into Drew Aller is coming back to Penn State. I think I mentioned that last time, and this is right on the heart. I think that I don't know where he would get drafted. Maybe second round, maybe third. I don't know where he might go first round off just
Drew Aller
projection.
Yes.
I mean, late. I don't know. There might be a team out there who's like, we could work with this Josh Allen looking dude.
They will. Quinn will go before Aller.
He would, but I don't think.
And hold on, but that wasn't my question. The reason I brought that up was because he decided to come back for another year, and I think it's because he would get more staying at Penn State than he would in the draft. So why I said that is I think, which is weird. We never thought older guys would stay in college. That's never been a thing. It's always to leave. And I think now more guys might stay that are actual superstars that feel like they can make life-changing money for one more year in college.
$5 million.
But also, when you're a guy like Aller, look at his improvement from last year to this year. In his head, he's got to be thinking, next year, look how much more I improve.
And he'll have however many millions.
But he isn't on that cusp of like being an NFL quarterback. He's not there yet. He's smart.
There's a lot of teams that really like him. He tests.
I think he's great.
Extremely well. But I mean, on the field, I'm not going to die on a sword for him. He's a good quarterback, but I'm not going to go much further than that.
I think he'll be good next year.
Here's the thing with Quinn. He reclassified from a junior to senior in high school so that he could start that clock to get to the NFL. That is in goal. And if that means he can be a second to third round pick this year and get into the draft, he's going. He'll go. And somebody will spin that on him.
Oh, he will. He's definitely get that.
He's already made quite a bit, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
he got $1 million for Ohio State.
Yep. And then transferred.
I think this
went there.
He can improve his stock by going. I mean, we don't know what he's going to do. We'll wait and see after their championship game, after they raise the trophy.
All right.
You know what? That I was going to say. What on that note, the college football is turning into like an XFL thing. They're not like a feeder into the NFL anymore.
It's becoming
we're going to see a lot.
Thing.
It's just a different league. I mean, even the rules are. I mean, starting to be substantially different.
There's going to be some government intervention soon that's going to change all of that.
It's an emergency.
There's so many things going on already on the federal government side to curb all this. There's the revenue,
but the money is still going to be in there.
No, the revenue sharing is going to come directly from the teams. They're talking about having a salary cap style thing where they can't have over X amount. That way to curb how much they're giving some of these guys. Because they're talking about...
Well, I'm saying that's how much a school can give a player. That's not how much a player can make.
The endorsements on the outside are going to be very much like at the pro level. Yeah, that company comes to you.
That's what I'm saying.
But your contract carries to wherever you're at. Doesn't matter where you're at.
That's what, so like $10 million in 4 years in college, you might not be worried about going pro. I mean, it's going to be a weird league.
I still think end goal is these guys want their competitors. That's what they want to be the best of the best.
Well, how do you feel about some football player? And this, I know we talk about football primarily, but I mean, this extends to all sports. You can go to JUCO now for 2 years, doesn't count against you, and you're leaving college with all the red shirts when you're 26 years old.
They're curbed. They're going to. That is all going to get curbed. They're going to fix that, and it's going to come from the federal government. It's not going to come from the NCAA because they just roll over on their back on everything. I think
it's the JUCO thing.
They're taking a spiral.
and you're going to go right
The
back to
JUCO
the
thing will spiral.
It's going to look exactly like the draft and follow used to look in baseball, where Alabama's going to say, come to a high school kid and say, we really like you, but you're going to go to this JUCO for a year, and then we'll reevaluate. But you can only come to us.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't see it going like that because I think this is what we're seeing with Diego Pavia is there's a pause on the hearing, right? On the final verdict. That's why he's coming back next year. They're going to rule against it because what classes is that kid taking at that many years? What is he doing academically to justify being there? I know you can say all these bullshit classes, but I do think there's going to be a cap on it. I think they'll get that fixed soon enough. I
Maybe.
think
Or
right
there'll
now
be a
we're
lot
seeing,
of doctors.
There's gonna be
right
a lot
now
of
we're
doctors.
seeing the Wild West.
There'll be,
We're seeing the
there'll be a
Wild
whole
West
shitload
right
of
now.
doctors.
A lot of doctors of I don't know what. Hey,
There will
before we
something
leave this,
governing.
I got to just bring it. So I'm not the big NIL guy. So I just wanted to. So there's a kid that was from Hawaii. He was the number one prospect from Hawaii. So his last name is Saga Poluteli. So
Yes.
he committed to Cal in July. Then he flipped in December to Oregon. He enrolled early at Oregon. Never played. He enrolled early at Oregon. He was on the sidelines at the game here last week and decided they've signed other kids. So he has never even played in college. He has no nothing in college. And because Oregon just got defeated, they have a 5-day transfer portal. Went back in the portal, and now he's going back to Cal. I mean, come on, man. That's some shit.
All right, but
That's some shit.
I understand, but have you dug deeper than the surface level on that?
Like what?
He committed to Cal with the Cal coaches promising him that they wouldn't have anything. They wouldn't bring in anybody else over him.
Yeah.
So he signed with them. Or not signed, but he committed.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They transferred a person in. He said, okay, well, then I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And he left. Well, the kid that transferred in transferred out. And his heart was set on Cal, but he went to Oregon.
Come on, man.
Well, now that opened up, so he went to Cal.
I get that, but that's some bullshit.
I don't think it's the money.
No, I don't think it's money. I'm not even talking about money. I'm just talking about the process. This kid signed with Cal. He never played. Goes to Oregon, signs with them, stands on the sidelines. They've signed a couple kids. And he goes, oh, shit, I don't want to play. I want to go back to Cal. And you're right. And then he says, oh, well, they gave me the best chance. So he uses the portal to do it. I'm just saying the system's fucked. I mean,
It's
that's messed
but
up.
I don't know if you can blame the kid.
Going back to-
blame the system.
I'm not blaming the kid. I'm blaming the system.
Ryan Day offered Quinn Ewers when he was in 8th grade.
I know.
And then he made $1 million
That's been
to
going
go
on
to
for
Ohio
100
State.
years, though.
Yeah. And then he got $1 million to go to Ohio State. And then he flipped and went to Texas.
I know.
So
It's just crazy.
That's
the
a
whole
recruiting
thing.
story is as old as time, to be honest.
He committed to Texas.
Well, the money part
Quinn
of
Ewers
it.
committed
the
to
money,
Texas,
I get.
then flipped to Ohio State, then really wanted to be at
No.
Texas.
Ryan Day offered him in 8th grade at a
I
camp.
understand that, but he committed to Texas his senior year. He committed to Tom Herman, and then flipped late in the cycle.
And
Anyway.
then CJ Stroud went bonkers and he went back to
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah.
I just had to throw that out there because the NIL thing just
It is
bugs
crazy.
me.
That
Yeah.
you
The NIL
bring up
thing needs to
probably
be fixed.
my second, like, what do you call it? Like pet peeve in football, college sports. I suppose it's the blanket statement. Is that and it all boils down to how much I hate the NCAA, because the NCAA doesn't do anything. If they're just like, oh, we'll create a window here, boom, there's a window. Are you telling me that you guys didn't think ahead that this might be in the middle of a playoff run?
Oh, I know.
Now a backup quarterback you can't even stay the rest of the season, and that you can't finish the season and then leave. No, you're off the team right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is such a lack of awareness, a lack of caring. It shows just how corrupt and how they only think about money. They don't think about kids' benefit in the least. And it's been like this since the beginning.
Yeah.
So I hope whatever resolution they come up with, if it's from the federal government, they're able to just kick the NCAA the hell out of here and say, this is what's going to happen. Your conferences can decide the schedules. You don't need the NCAA.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's going to come down to a commissioner style. We're going to get one person, one governing body, but it's going to be more like the NFL style of running everything. And there's talks of it being Nick Saban being the commissioner of football.
It'd probably be a good one.
That's fine.
Oh my God.
Well, you would never have to.
I don't
hear
want
him,
to.
but he doesn't ever do
Yes,
that. He
you
just
would.
he just hands the trophy at the end of the year to the people.
I know. He'd say, "I just want to tell you that call you made was horseshit."
Oh, shit.
Apparently, his favorite phrase was "kiss my ass." Well, kiss my ass. You got to catch that ball.
He said it the other day.
Believe
It's
that.
like whistling in the graveyard.
I like him a lot better now that
What
he's
the
not
hell does
coaching.
that mean?
Yeah.
Some of his coachisms are pretty good. All right. Well, and remaining in football news. Yeah, come on, Bunk.
What are we doing?
Is that the song from Weekend at Bernie's when they're doing the conga line?
That kind of looked like Bernie when he was dancing.
Oh boy! Ouch!
Bernie Lomax.
Yowzer! Yeah, that was a good one, Bernie Lomax. We've transitioned, folks.
We've made it. We've made it to the NFL playoffs as well.
Beautiful.
We saw an uncharacteristic game from the Minnesota Vikings last night. Shit the bed against the Lions.
Lions played
With a chance-
phenomenal on defense.
They played amazing. The defense played amazing with missing so many people.
They did.
But getting Anzalone back, man, that guy, he does make an impact on the game.
He's good.
They had to shift coverage into blocking him, which opened up a lot of the backside. And Sam Darnold looked like he was running for his life half that game. It was crazy.
He's like a guy at the club that only has the one dice throw dance move. He ran backwards a few
One
steps
trick.
and then he peeled out and like turned to his right every time. But it was
And they
every
kept doing a
fucking throw.
dice move over in the other
That's all
corner.
he had. That's all he had.
That was good. I was
Oh, the
happy to see the
whistle.
Lions win.
Mix in the sprinkler.
So the Lions earned themselves the first round bye. They win
They
the
need it.
NFC. They are the NFC best record in the NFC. That's crazy. Think about 4 years ago how bad the Lions were. They were really bad.
No,
They've turned this
they're a
around
good team.
really quick,
They're a team.
which is
I'd like,
really
you know
cool
what?
to see.
They played phenomenal. I think I think they're a very good team. They have a shot. I was also happy to see Tampa Bay get in. I like Baker. And
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's
What
going to go. They're going to go down there and they're going to beat Boomer's Eagles. I believe that's who they play.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, Boomer.
Packers,
What's happening?
Eagles.
Packers Eagles. I'm sorry. That's even
The
more
Bucks got the
ambiguous.
Commanders.
That's right.
The Bucks got the Commanders.
So
Ooh, that'd be-
that's going to be a good. They have a shot against the Commanders. I think Green Bay definitely has a shot against the Boomers Eagles. I'm taking Green Bay, by the way,
So
They just lost
of
to the
course
Bears.
you are.
because I hate the
They
Eagles.
just lost their wide receiver
Doesn't matter.
for the year.
Still taking them.
Yeah, ACL tear or whatever this past week. It's rough.
Hey, what?
All right.
Who? So the other, I thought it was funny. Denver absolutely destroyed Kansas City with Kansas City playing nobody, which really shows you how good those other guys are. Because it was an absolute ass whooping.
Well, I have a feeling that Kansas City was okay losing that game because if they lost that game and knocked out Cincinnati, and Cincinnati has been the Achilles heel of Kansas City
Yeah,
in the playoffs every time they've seen them.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And but it wasn't even close. And Bo Nix has had a phenomenal year. Good on them. I'm not a great fan of Peyton over there, but I was happy to see Bo Nix do really well.
How do they match up against the Bills there, Bunk?
God, I don't think they match. I think the Bills are too much, man. The Bills are, and they have to go to Buffalo. So good luck on that. Good Lord. One thing I liked about the pros, you got to go play at their field, and there's some cold ass fields up there, man. Buffalo's probably one of the coldest. So I don't think they get past Buffalo. I don't think they have a shot at all against them.
Do we have any stats for have the Bills? They have a winning record in those crazy snow games, or is it against the other team? Do we know? If
I don't
there's
know.
an actual advantage.
They tend to win those cold games.
They do tend to win,
Except in
especially
the
at home.
90s.
Yeah.
They didn't do great in the 90s.
No. Well, they used to get to the Super Bowl every year. If you remember, with Jim Kelly, they'd get to the Super Bowl like 3-4 times in a row. They just never could win the Super Bowl, but they won all the games getting there, and they won all home games in the cold. Once they went to the Super Bowl in the domes, couldn't do it.
I'm assuming this big storm is heading up north, and it seems like it would be hitting right on the weekend.
Oh, I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be.
So this might be nasty.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun to watch. So
So
what?
you've got.
Go
So
ahead.
looking at the games, right? So if we look at the AFC, the Chiefs got that 1 seed, and they're getting the bye. Our first game we'll see is the Texans Chargers. That's gonna be a pretty interesting game. I think it turns into a higher scoring game because, well, maybe not. The Texans' offensive line is really, really bad.
Texans have not.
So
You know what? They clinched early in a really weak division. They've not played well. I think the Chargers take that. The Chargers
their
are
line
really playing
kind of
well.
sucks.
Yeah.
But the defense for the Texans is pretty good, and they've kept them in every game. We'll
They
see.
have, but
see.
you know what? At the beginning of the season with the Herbert over there, they were running. Chargers were running. They weren't throwing as much, but the last 5 or 6 games, he's just been on fire, and they're kind of back to a regular offense now. They're good, and they have a good defense, and the Texans have done nothing. I mean, obviously it's going to be a close game, but I just think Chargers win. I hope they do, but I don't think it's going to matter. Whoever wins, go and play the Chiefs anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, what about Quentin Johnston learning how to catch the ball? Hey,
Oh, yeah.
he got the ball. He's catching the ball.
Phenomenal,
finally.
man. They caught a lot of balls out there, so he's doing good.
Him and Ladd. All right.
A
Glad-
lot of drops in the pros.
I'm with
lately.
you. Yeah, it has been. I'm with you on the Chargers in that game just because the Texans have just kind of been meh all year.
Yeah.
It's been a meh. They may, I mean, all power to them. They won their division.
And they could
Meh.
because they could, Stroud is good, and I just don't see it. I don't. They've not played well here last half
Without
of the
his
season.
top 2 wide receiver options,
Yeah.
and his running back, that's rough.
Yep.
It's just not gonna work. All right, next game, Ravens Steelers. That's a good game. The Ravens are going to shit on the Steelers, though.
They're going to shit on
It is
them.
a
That's what a
10-point
good
spread.
game it's going to be.
It's going to be a good game for about 2
Yeah.
quarters, and then Lamar Jackson's going to Lamar Jackson like he did to the Steelers all year
Yeah.
this year.
I agree. Have you
Derrick
guys
Henry's
watched
gonna
it? Yeah,
just
did you
mow
guys-
people over?
Do you know the Steelers? They had a good run there in the middle of the season, but they have not. They haven't done shit here in the last. They've lost. I think they've lost like 2 or 3 of the last 4 or something. I mean, they haven't done well.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like
No.
Russell Wilson made some, like he ran the ball and didn't get out of bounds with only 30 seconds left. He made some weird decisions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been on his shoulders the last 3 games I've watched them. It's kind of up to him to make big passes. And guys dropped the ball. A guy dropped the ball in the end zone yesterday.
He did drop it, but they have no running game. Najee Harris can't run against they're not gonna. It's not gonna even be close. I don't think. I mean, I'd be surprised, but I don't see it happening.
I mean,
No.
it's a 10. I've never seen a 10-point spread
Yeah,
on a pro game, like pro playoff game.
that's a lot.
Crazy.
The Steelers are not
Baltimore's
just.
getting 10.
But the Steelers just don't have much. I mean, they do have a decent defense. The Ravens they're gonna roll on them, man.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Bills Broncos. I think we're all in agreement. Bills win that game.
Yeah,
I haven't heard a medium G on this one.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have enough. Like, I'm not confident enough in what I say about these teams because I haven't been watching other than fantasy, or I haven't been like critically looking at them. If you understand what I mean, I've been watching the games a little bit. Jaden Daniels looks unbelievable for the Commanders, but then they were saying that they might not even make the playoffs, and I was like, oh my god, I obviously am not paying attention because I thought they were like in first place.
No, they
So
had a
I don't
rough
have
patch
much of an
there for a
opinion on
bit.
these.
They had a rough patch. The Eagles came back, won that division. But the Commanders could make some noise. I think the Commanders, if you look at that game, they're playing the Buccaneers. I know the Bucs are pretty darn good, but the Commanders are, I think their offense, when it's clicking, it's going to be hard to stop that as the Buccaneers. And I don't know, man, but Baker throws for 1,000,000 yards every game, but it could turn into a shootout. I think
That might be.
I think it's going to turn. I think that's going to be a very high scoring game.
yeah.
That's going to be so much fun to watch. Like, I'm actually legitimately looking forward to this NFL offseason or postseason because of games like this. Like, the teams are actually exciting to watch. I think that will be a shootout.
Well, they have Tampa Bay by 3.
They do. I'm
Mhm.
surprised. I mean, I think the Commanders are they're good. That's going to be. I think that's probably out of all these, that might be like the best game because that's. I think either team could win that one. And the thing with Baker, he does throw interceptions. I mean, I love the guy, and he pulls them out of his ass at the end. But I don't know if they're and the Commanders too. I mean, they kind of had and the reason they barely made the playoffs because they kind of fell off a little bit mid-season. They started losing a bunch of games, and they came back and they did better. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think they're two evenly matched teams. I wouldn't be
surprised.
Here's
a question for you, Bunk. How many passing yards does Mayfield have? This I just saw it and it shocked me.
Oh, he has a ton of
number 3.
Yeah, and he has a lot of touchdowns. He's got like, doesn't he have 40 some touchdowns?
41 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you the answer. He's thrown for 4,500 yards.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, he literally won the game for him yesterday. I mean,
wow.
And he runs. The thing with him, like yesterday, they were down to New Orleans, and they needed to come back in the second half, and they were like third down and like 15. He runs for 27 yards. I mean, he does shit like that. So he's a wild card. You can't ever count him out, but their defense is not the greatest, and it's going to be a good game. I think either team could take that one. I wouldn't even pick a team there, to be honest with you.
You know what's funny to me about Mayfield is that obviously in college he killed it, right? He's like a Hall of Fame college guy. He revolutionized the sport sort of thing about how quarterbacks kind of play. And then he made it to the NFL, and obviously that was not working. And then all of a sudden he's like reemerged, kind of reinvented himself. But the reinvention is kind of just the same as he was in college. So you know what I mean? It's like, what exactly has he?
You know why? Because the coach, the coach in Cleveland didn't play to his strength. No, I mean they didn't play to what he when you draft him, that's who he is. And Cleveland was a
shithole.
They want
to turn him into a pocket passer.
Yeah, and but they didn't do anything with him. And out in Tampa Bay, they let him play the way he plays, and he's going to make every single game. He's going to make some stupid shit plays, but he can always, if you just let him go, he'll make up for it. And they do out there, and he's been phenomenal for him.
Yeah, it's been great for them. He's been good.
Those games are just so much fun to watch. Like I just love watching him sling the ball 50 times for like 380 yards.
All right. How about Vikings-Rams? Vikings looked very gettable. Like, Lions looked unbelievable. Maybe that's just the difference. The Vikings are a very good team. How is a team that lost only 3 times this year a 5 seed? They need to figure that out. Because the Rams lost
the NFL.
Many more.
Well, the Rams went. Yeah, the Rams won a division. So, but I think I'll tell you that the Rams are okay. I think they're, Stafford's going to throw. I think the Vikings win this one. The Vikings defense is really good, and I know they gave up 31 points yesterday, but it kind of got away from them. I don't see that happening here. I think the Vikings can definitely take the Rams here. I don't think the Rams don't have the rushing defense, those guys coming in like Detroit did yesterday, because he was under pressure the whole game. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think if he has time, I think he's going to do fine. I got
on that one.
That game last night was like a playoff game because they were playing for the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. And I think that says a lot more about Detroit last night than it says about Minnesota. So I don't know. I think they'll be all right.
And
Justin Jefferson had like 3 drops too. Like that was a weird game all around. Mm-hmm. Detroit's defense was playing just lights out.
Yeah, that was Sam Darnold's first playoff atmosphere type game too. So he has something to learn from. Jared Goff has been there. Jared Goff looked like Jared Goff last night.
Yeah,
he looked pretty amazing. All
Junior
right,
Gibbs is unreal.
He's so good, so good. All right, last game is going to be the Eagles and the Packers. Bunk's on the Packers.
And I'm going to tell you, this isn't just to bust Boomer's ass either. The Packers are actually a really good team. And I'm just not bought in on the Eagles, to be honest with you. I think the Packers win this.
I'm on the Eagles. I think the Eagles win this one pretty easily. To be honest with you. Yeah, I think
the Packers playing for real yesterday?
Yeah, Their number one
They
receiver
lost to
is
Chicago
now,
playing for real though.
their number one receiver is out for the year now.
But
Like,
Jordan Love
next.
like hurt his elbow or something. He didn't play the whole game either. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and I'll say so. I will say this: if the Eagles do get eliminated in the first or second round, shame on them for not letting Saquon get the record. That is some bullshit.
Yeah.
So they
sad.
better damn well win the Super Bowl if they're going to do that.
You think they just told him no? He had to have input.
You know what? If you read everything the way it was, I don't believe he had the. I think they may have talked, but it wasn't his decision. And I think he's been really, really nice about the way he's been saying things. But I also, you can kind of the undertones, where he said it'd be nice to get it, and come full circle against the Giants and that. They did not play him. And that was not his, unlike like Buffalo, where that coach, was trying to get his guys their numbers and all that.
Yeah, the punt.
He didn't do
the 34.
That is some bullshit right there. And I mean, even
all the teams did it. Evans got his.
Did you see on the last play of the game, he needed 5 yards and he got 8. And so he got like $3 million and 1,000 yards.
11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He just tied Jerry Rice for that record.
So
that's crazy.
That's some bullshit not letting Saquon get 100. He could have got 100 yards on the Giants in the first half if they needed it. But
I was under the impression that he was protecting himself, but I don't I completely stopped watching ESPN and reading all the stuff. So I don't know what the buzz is going on. I'm sure whatever you've heard, if it is from ESPN, is 50% true anyways.
He's saying he is saying the things that you would expect him to say.
Okay.
And his dad evidently was just on fire about it, unbelievably pissed.
That's once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean,
it is.
He's not going to get any younger.
I bet if the Eagles weren't going to make the postseason, it would have been. I mean, I know he would have probably played then too, but he's keeping his mouth shut for the team, knowing that they have to concentrate.
He is.
But he should be fired up. That was a bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
Bullshit move.
I agree.
Especially against the Giants, right?
I know. And they beat the Giants with all their backups. Come on, fuck me.
It would be like running through a level on Fall Guys with all the cushioned walls.
I know. It's just he could have got it early. Just keep feeding him the ball. They're not going to stop him. That's some bullshit.
That surprised me because you know what? For all of my time playing sports, there was always it's not a saying. It's like a mantra or whatever you want to call it. Of once you reach the top, once you've proven yourself beyond all doubts, and you're there and you're the guy. You have agency over your career, not the teams. So in baseball, that's how it works. If you reach that upper echelon,
it's a little different in football.
You tell them I'm not coming out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought it worked that way in football. If I had a superstar who was, how many yards was he away? Maybe 80, something like that?
105.
He was 101 yards away.
101 yards away. I would say, you know what? You're my superstar. I need you to go get those yards so you're happy, my big man. Now you go get them.
Yep.
Yeah. That might have only been 10 carries for him, too.
I need you happy.
Yeah.
Give him the first 10, give him the ball the first 10 offensive plays and let him get it.
Every other team did it. Every other team helped their guys get their, every other team that I read about helped their guys get the either bonuses or whatever.
This is the NFL. There is no other level. It's not showing up another team when you break a record and then you get taken out of the game. This isn't Little League, dude. They did it for Cal Ripken. He would start an inning and then come out of the game for a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They just did it for did it for Josh Allen. He's got the longest streak of starting. He started the game. I don't know. He played like a series and that was it. But it was important to him. So they said, fuck yeah, we'll play.
It was.
Mike Evans, you saw how important that was to him. There was a punter.
Yeah, the punter.
I mean, was that for the Bills where they lined up for a punt on the 35 to kick it 5 yards?
It was. And if he had one more punt inside the 20, he got $100,000 bonus. And they gave, he punted on purpose.
He was happy, right?
Yeah.
That's like going to Chuck E. Cheese for these pros of the last, I just 8 yards, $3 billion.
Yeah.
You know what it is, though? I think it's an understanding that these guys have been grinding their ass off and they're doing something that
year.
I think everybody around them knows that they're probably never going to do again.
Yeah.
This is it. This is their entire career. They can walk away with their name stamped in something.
Yeah.
For sure.
It does say a lot about that coach. The other coaches are probably pretty solid in the locker room. So that dude for the Bills looks like a grizzled NFL coach, and the Eagles just don't got that.
Yep.
They don't.
All right.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see where that ends up and where we get on those games. Because some of those point spreads are pretty crazy to see for an NFL game. And then some of them you're like a little bit head scratching with like Minnesota only getting 1.5
Yeah.
on LA. I
I'm
would
surprised.
probably bet the over on that one, personally. But
Yep.
I think we're going to see some really good football games, honestly, on the college and NFL level. Right now, MLB wise, there's not a ton going on. No big trades, nothing
Nope.
happened this past week, so nothing to talk about there. Hockey's kind of just trudging along. Looks about status quo. There were some pretty good games. The classic, the Winter Classic was really cool to see. They did that on the 1st or the 31st, one of those two games, but that was really fun to watch. But any sports things you guys want to touch before we head out?
I did see that the Big Ten is hosting hockey at Wrigley Field this year, Greg, and they're showing them on TV for some matchups.
Nice.
It
Yeah.
looks amazing.
I know. I want to go to one where it's snowing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be very cool. All right. Well, if nothing else,
Look.
fellas, well, what you got?
what you
What you got, Big
Like,
G?
you brush it. NHL status quo. What the hell does that mean?
Give it to him, Greg.
The Leafs. Come on. The Leafs extended their point lead.
How am I Blackhawks
This
doing?
might be it.
They're not
Let
doing
me
great there.
look. I
Don't
would scroll.
care.
Let me scroll further. Wait,
Behind the Blackhawks down
Page.
there.
the page ended. Yeah, they have 28 points. They're really bad. They have 13 wins. Wait, who was your team, Bunk?
Mighty
The
Ducks.
Ducks.
They're bad.
Like 17 wins.
Yeah. Oh well.
Not good. And
Bastards.
pick was the Jaguars.
Nope, I'm
For
the
everything.
The Avs, which are starting to turn around just a little bit.
Yeah, they're playing right now. They're playing the Panthers. They're doing
starting
good.
to
I mean, they're
play
hanging.
better.
Yeah, the only problem in that division is that the Wild is starting to catch the Jets.
Yep.
So that's like, I don't know. It's going to be a really fun postseason hockey too.
Absolutely.
Still good.
Well,
You got to get to Toronto if the Leafs start making a push, because I mean that would be the craziest place in the.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
that'll be intense.
Those fans are crazy.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, fellas, we killed 2 hours today. It's quite a long podcast, so I do want to wrap it up here. But thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Bunk, any bunkisms for the people? Anything you got for the people to start the new year?
You know what?
for?
2025. Don't have anything new right at this moment.
Okay. Well,
It's just same old shit. New year.
Well, I guess I'll kick it to the two guys that really know how to roll them, according to Bunk with their hands or whatever the hell he said at the
Best
beginning.
ball
of the
rolling
podcast.
hands in the business
Let's
right here,
kick it
folks.
To the two G's to take us out of here, fellas. The floor is yours. You guys always pause. Are you going to be
No
what?
pause.
Are we
I was
rolling? We
listening-
gotta roll
I was
balls,
listening to
people.
Bunk laugh. Here, I'm jumping in with my closing thoughts.
All right.
Let me make something up here. No, my closing thought is I'm super excited. This is the longest I've gotten. College football is by far my favorite sport to watch. It's not even close. And the fact that I've gotten to watch Penn State play here into January is so cool, with a possibility of two more, and then a possibility of playing a rivalry like in our family. This is probably the most excited I've been for sports all year long through 2024. So this has been really fun.
Absolutely.
It's been a good one.
Hey, that's a good one to go out on.
It is.
Well, I'll do what I just did to you two again and throw it to you to take us out of
Man,
here.
good God. It's like pulling
Jesus
teeth with
Christ.
these two. Hey, let's
He
roll
doesn't have his
balls, my
camera on. No
friends.
social cues.
Oh, okay. Ready?
Okay. It's your turn.
With her pointing.
You guys pointed at the wrong time. And we're
Rolling balls.
You went right to it.
All right. We'll see you guys
pointed
next
at me
time.
like 6 times.
Woo.